Welcome to the Texas Metal Show. I'm your host, John fucking Winningham. I've been thinking a lot about the format of the show recently, and how we're doing things. We are 6 episodes in. This will be our 5th episode of the Texas Metal Show. And as of right now, we have about 455 listens. And I just want to give everyone a big thank you. Thank you for listening to the show. Thank you to all the bands who sent me free music to work on the show. It is fucking awesome, the support that we've had. And I just really want to say thank you to everyone. This episode, we traveled down to San Antonio again to talk to Witchcryer, who are a classic doom act that recently got together. And I'll tell you what, this interview was a lot of fun. We had a lot of energy, and I'm really excited for you to hear it. Once again, thank you so much for supporting us, and thank you for listening to the show. Here's Witchcryer. My pleasure to introduce Jason on guitar, Avi on drums, Marilyn on bass, and Susie on vocals. How are you guys doing tonight?
Great.
Good. Really appreciate you guys being here tonight. We're really excited to see y'all's first show ever. We love the demo. Susie, your voice is fucking fantastic.
Appreciate it.
I love the guitar. There's just super classic doomy shit. But I got into Doom a few years ago. My older brother was like, man, you have to listen to Pentagram and Witchfinder General and fucking Angel Witch. And then all of a sudden, dude, it just opened up. And I had been listening to Candlemass for a while and not even realizing that Doom was like, I didn't know Doom was a thing. I just really like Candlemass.
They're awesome, man. I love them.
So give me a brief history of Witchcryer.
So it's my baby, sort of. I was in Earth and Grave in Chicago and had more material than we knew what to do with. And so it's always sort of got like pushed to the side and like, I'll do something with that someday. And then everyone else had a witch band and I wanted a witch band. So I came up with the name and just sort of started stacking stuff to the side. I relocated to Austin in January 2015 and within a few months started working with Javi and then Susie, and then she brought Marilyn on board, and that gets us to tonight.
Well, and you already answered my second question, which was how did you settle on your name, Witchcryer? But
don't even know.
It just stuck. It seems very classic. Like if I were to listen to a band called Witchcryer, I assume they would be putting out music in like the new wave of British heavy metal era of music.
Like, Witchcryer!
Nice and high pitched. So, Javi, you knew Susie?
Actually, Marilyn and I knew each other.
Okay.
We've been in previous bands since, I don't know, 2003? 2?
Yeah, probably. Well, yeah, prior to that, too.
But we haven't played together in years, probably in 6-7 years, maybe more. And, it's been, I've always wanted to work with him again. And so this is a great opportunity because we needed a bass player. And the only problem was, would he be willing to commute from San Antonio to Austin? And
what's that commute like? Is it just like a couple-hour drive?
No, it's about hour and a half, depending on traffic.
Okay, so it's not so bad.
No, it's not too bad. And plus, where I work, it's a little, I'm almost there. But either way, Jason was telling Susie, well, is he willing to drive? And I'm like, well, we drive everywhere in Texas. It doesn't matter.
Right.
We don't tell distance by miles, just by time. And I listened to the demo, and I was like, fuck yeah, I'll drive up here. So that's how it kind of came to be with me being in the band.
We're going to take our first musical break. This one is called Ricochet off the Praying Kind demo 2016.
Feel the ricochets of what we call
let's talk about Ricochet a little bit. Does Ricochet have any sort of like personal meaning for anybody? What was the influence behind writing this particular song?
Well, from a lyrical standpoint, it's just a song about taking all the shit that life keeps giving you and making something better out of it, or something that's gonna mean something. Taking chaos, turning it into creation, taking the shit that people throw at you and making it something that makes your life worth living.
What's y'all's writing process like? Do you guys lay down your guitars and drums and bass and then throw some lyrics in, or do you have a general idea of what you're gonna do when you step into wherever you record?
Jason says, "Play this." And that's it.
So far, it's been a lot of that.
Yeah.
Since I started, I had material ready to go. So Javi and I started working, and just bass and drums, classic way to do things. And by the time Susie came in, we had at least 3 songs, 3 originals, and then a couple covers under our belts. So Susie kind of came in. Usually I would come in with most of a song written.
Yeah.
And then you would start chiming in and helping tweak stuff.
Like
and
with
so
the
it's
arrangements
Susie.
and stuff. He usually comes up with the riffs, and he'll like give us like CD copies for us to take home so we can get more acquainted with the riffs. We come back next rehearsal, and he'll play that riff, and we start doing some more arrangements with that. So it all starts off with just making CD copies of his riffs. He'll pass them out, and we just kind of, those riffs will grow into us, and we just start to turn it into songs.
Yeah, and then I come up with the lyrics.
So do you solely write the lyrics yourself and then go, okay, guys, this is what I've done. Do you have any tweaks or changes or
sometimes
critiques?
And it's great to get, like, Jason cares about the song, and he'll be like, I listened to the lyrics, what does it mean, and what's that? And it's kind of cool because usually you've already pressed an album, put it out, and the band members still don't know what the damn song's about, because they're just so consumed by their part. But it's, we try to be cohesive about how we do it. And, so, like, Jason's really great at giving feedback, and we kind of just bounce each other's ideas off.
Yeah. Lyrics can help. Like, if we get to a point where we can't figure out what to do with the song next, then the lyrics can come in and it's like, oh, that's where it needs to go. Or
it helps conceptualize everything and tie it together.
So you guys sometimes take lyrics that have already been written for and mold the actual music to the lyrics?
The song will be there. The basic structure of the song is there, and then the lyrics come in, and then we kind of tighten it up and tie these parts together.
Yep.
And then there's a lot more emphasis on emotion that lyrically or vocally comes out and then we feed off of each other, and then next thing you know, Hav is like, you know what, let's do this instead right here because you're doing that right there, and so it's...
So it sounds like you guys work so far. Well, if you're listening to this interview and you've listened to the demo, you obviously already know you guys seem to work real well together. You can really hear that in the music.
We're all professionals, experienced. We all have a background in music. We've been playing for a long time with our own history and our own bands, and we're just we're professional metalheads that came together to bring the metal in your face.
What helps out a lot is that we record our practices, so we all go home and listen to on our own time. We listen to our practices, and that's when we can know what to do and maybe not to do that, or maybe to add this and that. So basically, you're pretty much practicing also at home just by listening to your recordings, because you get to understand the song better and you come up with better ideas. So one of the good things that we do is we record everything.
As much as we can.
As much as we can, yes. Not all the time, but
It also really helps because you're trying to play the song, you're trying to play it right and not screw it up and get through the arrangement. And I'm not listening to what Susie's doing because I'm focusing. So then the next day you go back and like, oh, that's what she was doing. So it's really nice.
That sounds like a process I could probably take a little bit of influence from. I tend to not listen to the shows that we record. It's like a weird thing for me. Like I hate hearing, she's like, we'll be at the house and I'll be playing video games or doing something on the computer, and she'll be like, okay, listen to this, and she'll slip the headphones over my head, and I just hear my voice, and I'm instantly like, God damn it, I fucking hate the way this sounds.
That's because we're our biggest critics.
That must,
our own biggest
yeah,
critics.
that must be what
That's
it is. So I did a little, looked a little bit on your Facebook because I wanted to make sure I had everybody's name correctly before we started this. And then I realized there was a bassist involved because I think something I looked at earlier, I think Bandcamp, there's not a bass slot on there.
Yeah.
And I saw that you guys are like heavily influenced, or at least one of your non-heavy metal influences is Uriah Heep. And when I was like 16 years old, I got a copy of Demons and Wizards, and I want to say it changed my life. I'm pretty sure Uriah Heep changed my life. So outside of Uriah Heep, what would you say are y'all's non-metal influences for making the style of music that you do?
PJ Harvey, Patti Smith. Yeah.
BOC.
Right.
BOC's heavy rock.
My main influence ever since I was in high school, eons ago, is Iron Maiden.
Oh yeah,
Iron Maiden. It's real funny because all through high school, ever since I heard of them, I had an 8x10 picture right next to my bed of Steve Harris, and my dad would always be like, "Oh, what does that mean?" So, you know, all my friends had, you know, naked girls or chicks in bikinis. I had 8x10 pictures of Steve Harris.
One of the best bassists out there.
And it was like, that's probably one of my big influences, definitely.
So, I don't know if this is true. So, if anybody listening to the show, don't send me angry emails about how I'm spreading misinformation. I'm going to throw that out there right now. And I don't know who I was talking to about this. It was yesterday or the day before. We were talking about Blue Oyster Cult. And please correct me if I'm wrong. And from what we were talking about, my buddy was telling me how like they were like one of the first, like, I don't know if corporate is the right word, but they were like formed by like an agency to particularly make music. Is there any validity to that?
Wasn't the lyric? You probably know this. Was it the lyricist or someone put that together?
I don't know.
There's something to that. I don't know for sure, but there's something.
I'll tell you one thing, though. The reason that Jason and I met was because Steve from Destroyer of Light,
who we love,
convinced me to get on Craigslist to start a band because I just moved to Austin from San Antonio. I've been playing for years here, and I was being so adamant, like, no, I'm not going to get on stupid Craigslist. All they want is crappy-ass, like, Nickelback shit. And he's like, just do it. Just put yourself out there. Try to find people you don't already know. So he's like, be specific about what you want. And I wrote, Blue Oyster Cult. I want a band that's influenced by Blue Oyster Cult and this and this and that. And only one person responded to that ad. Bless this man, it was Jason. He's the only guy that responded to the ad. And it ended up being the only one that I needed. So
and this is how you got involved with Witchcryer.
Blue Oyster Cult.
You know, and when we were talking to the Dirty Seeds, they had talked about putting out Craigslist ads or answering Craigslist ads for like stoner rock bands. So apparently, everybody, if you're listening to the show and you want to play in a band, Craigslist is really the place to be. I mean, that's what it seems like to me, anyway. The reason I brought up the Blue Oyster Cult, and now that I've had a minute to think about it, we were watching I don't know if you guys listen to baby metal at all. And baby metal is this real weird area where they're like, some people are like, they're not metal, fuck them, and other people are like, well, this is a really interesting. I personally feel like it's a really interesting style of music, and I think their guitar player is great. And I have a 5-year-old. And so there's music I won't listen to with him. Just some of the stuff I listen to, you can wait till he's a little bit older. But baby metal is great because first of all, they're not singing in English, so we have no fucking idea what they're talking about. So if they're talking about shitty things, we don't know. And he absolutely enjoys the fact that they have songs about like eating chocolate because he's 5. And that's what it was. We were watching them on The Late Show or whatever, and that's how the conversation of corporate rock, because apparently in Japan it's really like a lot of music is like corporately set up and they'll like fire your ass if you're not doing good. Unlike people like Witchcryer who find each other on Craigslist and then slam out a fucking fantastic demo.
Brought together by Buck Dharma's mullet.
Yep.
I told myself I wasn't going to ask this question. I have a list of questions I go through, and I obviously we don't want every fucking episode of the show to sound the same. Right. Part of me does, because then you kind of get to, you know what you're getting yourself into. You know what you're going to talk to. Because my hope is that somebody who's never listened to you guys or any of the other bands we have on goes, oh, fuck, dude, this is great. You know, let's follow these guys. Hey, they're coming to town. Let's go to their show. That's my main focus here. But I'm going to do it anyway. I want to know about pieces of music, whether it be heavy metal or classical or, you know, jazz, that move you personally, like emotionally. What do you listen to and you just go like, fuck, man, this song really stirs heavy emotions, whether they be happy, sad, depressed, that kind of thing.
Kate Bush.
Say that again?
Kate Bush.
Kate Bush?
Fucking A, man.
Never listened to Kate Bush.
The band.
Oh, Robbie Robertson?
Good. Yeah.
Oh, man, Robbie Robertson. Hell yeah.
What else? All the classic metal stuff. Sabbath still gets me going.
I got a soft spot for Skunk Anansi. Skin singer. She is incredible.
Yeah.
I am floored when I hear her.
I sincerely hope that Black Sabbath never stops being like an emotional experience. We grew up in a really Christian home, and we kind of talked about this in the last episode recorded, so I'll just leave it at that. So our musical influence was pretty small. Before I started listening to things like Black Sabbath and Metallica, we listened to like Christian music, because that's what we were given. And, you know, when you're a kid, you don't, you know, the internet didn't exist, and if it did, I probably wouldn't have been able to use it anyway. So it was actually my biological father. He was like, here's this cassette tape of Paranoid. And we were like, huh. And this is weird because my dad has like an original pressing, like 4-piece Injustice for All record mixed in with like a bunch of really old country music. And then like Madonna records.
That's awesome.
And a little bit of Jethro Tull, which later on we would find out was my stepmother's. So it's not even... I can't even give Dad the credit for the Jethro Tull. Only for the Black Sabbath and the Metallica. And for years, those were like the only heavy metal that existed. Because until my older brother brought home the first Demons and Wizards album, which is the lead singer from Blind Guardian and the leader of Iced Earth, John Schaefer, and Hansi Kirsch. That's like their side project, and he was like, man, you have to hear this. And he put it on, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, there is music that sounds like this? And it just blew me away, and that kind of, for me, that opened the door to Iced Earth, Blind Guardian, Uriah Heep, because that was like a real big heavy influence on them. Obviously, their album is like a homage to the Demons and Wizards, and I have Demons and Wizards and The Magician's Birthday in my record collection at home that my younger brother, he was like, I've been collecting these records, and you know, you have a better player, go ahead and take them. And I can still jam to those records, and it just is absolutely fantastic. We're going to take our second musical break. This one is called The Praying Kind, from the Praying Kind demo. So, this song, Susie, since you write most of the lyrics, or 100% of the lyrics, and then maybe they say, okay, this is good or this is bad. What is this song about? Tell me a little bit about this one.
It's just about these crazy religious fanatics, how you can take a good thing and turn it into something bad. It's not necessarily an anti-religion or an anti-Christian song, but it's more about how you can take something so pure and so beautiful and so intimate and personal and turn it into some power trip, something dangerous. And it's about how in the end it's about we're predator versus prey, and preying the Christians who are trying to pretty much kill the rest of everybody else's freedom in the whole goddamn universe.
In this country, it's exceptionally hard to get away from.
There are more pure-hearted people who have really good intentions, but then there are those that spew so much hate.
Like in Mississippi, we're seeing now.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Politics and religion are something we try to stay away from on the Texas Metal Show.
But for us, it's more about just taking good intentions, turning them into bad, and we have to just hold ourselves accountable, whichever road we take.
Oh, yeah, right. You don't want to take sides. That's a dangerous game. Obviously, you guys play, in my opinion, please correct me if I'm wrong, a very classic style of doom metal. I would love to know of your biggest influence in the doom genre, and I already know you're going to say things like Black Sabbath. You're wearing a Volume 4 shirt, Jason, right there. I know you guys can't see this because this is radio, but he's wearing a Black Sabbath shirt. So, outside of your obvious answers of genre-specific doom, what kind of doom do you guys listen to get you in the mood to make this style of metal?
Well, you took away the easy one.
I know, that's right. That's
Heap is pretty big. This is definitely a bit. Witchcryer's a little less metal and a little more heavy. I don't know if there's much distinction there, but if you take Old Sabbath, heavy 70s stuff, that's what we're trying to get to. I couldn't point to bands so easily.
Yeah, that's a hard. Some people, and this is my experience just with talking to so many musicians that I've met in Houston and in the other areas that we go, that question sometimes can be a difficult question to answer because some people feel like, oh, well, I don't want to equate what we do with, But for me personally, and this is just my take on it and why I ask that kind of question is I always love to know what are the same metal bands that we all listen to that there's a Sleep poster up here, so I'm sure some of you maybe have got a little stoned a time or two, maybe we won't name any names, jammed a little bit of Sleep or Saint Vitus.
I've heard of people doing that.
Yeah, I think it's common. I personally would never do drugs because they're bad.
No, bad.
Yeah, no drugs
bad.
on the Texas Metal Show.
No.
Don't listen to the third episode if you have
Music
not
is
already.
my drug.
And it's a pretty damn good
It's
drug.
a heavy drug.
We go to a lot of shows. I think for 2016, we had gone to a show every weekend for 3 months, and we finally were like, okay, we have to stop. It just, sometimes you want to play Dungeons and Dragons with your buddies. we were going to see Dead Horse, and we ended up playing Dungeons and Dragons instead because we're really big nerds at the Texas Metal Show.
Yeah, but there's a bunch of stuff that leaks and influence that has nothing to do with what the style of music that you play sometimes, but it influences you so much it makes you want to play, and it kind of you can hear tweaks here and there. It's kind of funny because CJ from Curses, we used to be in a band called Pill Crusher.
Yeah, he mentioned that today when we talked to him.
And we got it. I knew of Doom, Stoner, and all that, and I was into a lot of it. But when we started Pill Crusher, we got hugely heavy into Doom and Stoner. And the basement, we used to lock ourselves in that basement for probably a good day. And very recreational for everything down there. And we would come out with, 20-minute songs, and we all thought they were fantastic, and a lot of people did too, but we were influenced a lot by I Hate God and Sleep and R.L. Burnside. We love R.L. Burnside. It's kind of weird in a way, but the groove, and his attitude is just phenomenal. And throw that in with, all the rest of it, and, you can listen to whatever you want and just influence you all in a different way. And that's what it did to us, and I'm pretty sure everybody here too. It's you take whatever you hear, you take a little bit of it, and you make it your own, and then you get the unique sound, and you throw it out there.
Nina Simone's intensity. She's very intense. Diamanda Galas is strange, like ferocious, like she terrifies you. She makes you want to pee on yourself. I'm not necessarily trying to terrify people, but when you can do that here and there, it's great. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Susie turned me on to a lot of that stuff. I was like...
I'm sorry. I just can't. I just keep picturing myself like at a show and like just pissing all over myself and just like uncontrollably too. Like, oh fuck, I can't stop. I'm sorry. What is what's in my mind right now?
I think you take a little bit of like the other stuff, like the people that know how to tell stories, the storyteller. Of course, there's always like Townsend and Chris Christopherson and the way that they speak and the way that they're telling a story. They're not just singing a genre or singing a verse here, verse chorus. It's like the whole song and the lyrics and everything come together as and then all of your inflections and everything that you do go with it. It's very theatrical too. But
and I was just having a conversation about older style country music. I'm a big metalhead, and it's just been something. I don't exactly know what it was in my life that when I started listening to metal, like, attached me to it. And for, like, when I was a bit younger, I was real, like, elitist, like, purist, like, second wave black metal. Like, all that kind of shit. Like, when I was in school, it was, like, Korn, Slipknot, Linkin Park when I was in high school, and these were, like, the heavy bands people were listening to. And I was, like, carrying around a CD player listening to, like, Midian by Cradle of Filth and, like, Bloodlust by Cannibal Corpse and shit. Oh, yeah. And I didn't really have anyone to share that. So for a long time, they were like, oh, let's go see Slipknot. I'm like, fuck you. Like, go listen to real metal. But as I've gotten older, tried my best to get away from that mentality, because you really like lock yourself in a cage and you can't listen to new shit when you think everything else sucks because it doesn't sound like A, B, or C. But we were talking about older style country music, back to my original thought, and I'm a big Marty Robbins fan.
Oh, yeah.
And it was my dad. My dad had... I don't know what record it was, but it had Big Iron, and that's one of my favorite Marty Robbins songs. And I listened to a lot of Marty Robbins when I went through my divorce originally, and I don't think it's because wouldn't say his music is depressing, but like he was like heavily influenced when he was in the Air Force, either the Air Force or the Navy, by the Hawaiian musicians. He was stationed in Hawaii, and he took a lot of that influence. There's something about that sound that amazes me, and one other thing I love about it is every song that he has, he tells a story. If the song's only a minute and a half long, you have just gotten some form of story about a woman, or being lost in the desert, or hanging out in El Paso, or whatever the weird tropes that those old country guys always sang about. And for a lot of like current country music, and even some of your mainstream rock and roll and pop, that's kind of gone out the window. How many pop songs can you listen to where you're hearing a story about something? Or that's not like incredibly convoluted that you don't have to know something about pop star A and B. I couldn't. Yeah. A is A. I don't really know any pop musicians. So, and that's one thing that I think some heavy metal still takes into it. Obviously, there are other heavy metal bands that just play heavy-ass music to play heavy-ass music. So I personally enjoy music that tells a story. I love concept albums. Yes. Like the new Amon Amarth album, which I haven't listened to yet, is supposed to be a concept album, and I can't wait. That was one of the things that, other than King Diamond being like wonderfully satanic, which always spoke to me as a kid because we went to church all the time, like every album he has is a story, and I actually wrote a Dungeons and Dragons adventure all based off the Puppet Master, which is probably one of my favorite King Diamond records. So what are you guys' future band plans? What do you have in store for us as you guys progress with your music?
Get through the show.
Get through this show, yeah.
Ask us again at 11:01.
Yeah, we'll just pull.
Then we'll know.
We'll pull all the equipment out and be like, "So, how did the first show go?" And we'll do like 5 minutes, and then we'll splice it
You
in.
might not be a band tomorrow.
We
No,
might
I'm
not
kidding.
Oh, you know, I think that you guys are going to do absolutely fantastic, and we're really excited to be a
Thanks.
part of your first ever show.
We definitely want to release an album.
Yep.
We've talked about vinyl, cassettes, CD, hard copies. For now, we've got to keep recording because we only have those 3 songs from that demo, and we have to record enough to make a full length. We're not saying that officially we're going to make a full-length album. I mean, it could be an EP for all we know, but really we just got to write more songs and keep playing more shows and just get our stage legs together and keep playing.
Phil and Salmo always said, and I'm a big Phil fan, I remember the first time I heard fucking Great Southern Trendkill. I was like 16, 17 years old, and I was like, music can be this aggressive? I had no idea. He always said it was always easier to write EPs than it was to write full albums, and he always enjoyed writing EPs a hell of a lot more than he did doing 11, 12, 13 songs. Mm-hmm. So
no one's got the attention span anymore. It's hard for me to sit through a 45-minute record.
yes,
Well,
I agree.
Well, the thing too with a lot, you write 12 songs, and at least 7 of them end up being throwaway songs because you don't play them ever again live.
Right.
Because if you're a working band and you're recording, you're doing maybe an album a year, maybe 2, who knows? And so people like that, you have so much material, you lose so much of it, And personally, been in a couple of bands that have been around for a while. I'm like, oh shit, man, I should have used that riff that I played. That we don't. I go, can I rip myself off? Can I use that riff? But because nobody's ever going to hear it because that was 3 albums ago. But then you got that one guy or that one girl that goes, man, that sounds like that song you wrote, and you're like,
yeah, fuck.
And you're like
hating yourself.
Yeah, it's like, why don't you go away? I can understand. I don't like writing 13 songs for an album, and then everybody's stressing, hey man, we need one more song. I've been in that situation before, and it's no bueno. I don't like that, man. I'd rather play 6 solid songs than 12. All right, we got 12 songs.
I mean, we
5
do
of them
have,
are good.
Yeah.
We do have other songs that we are going to start working on next week. But other than that, I mean, we've got this debut set, and we'll just be adding more songs to it, playing more shows, and we're going to be we're very picky about the songs we do play live. They've got to be of Witchcryer caliber.
That's going to be a phrase that you may hear once or twice on other episodes of the podcast. I'm going to lock that one away.
Yeah.
Witchcryer caliber. So you all seem like you're seasoned musicians. You've all played live with other bands, recorded with other bands. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So what is your advice as people who have been playing music for so many years together to somebody who may be listening to this show who's got a couple of friends with instruments? You're like, fuck, man, I want to make whatever kind of music.
It doesn't matter if they hate you because some asshole out there is going to love your shit. So just fucking do it because you feel like it. If you're afraid, don't worry about what people think. You do it because you have to, because it's what's compelling you to breathe and live, or at least have a good time while you're here on this planet, not because you care about what people think. You play what you feel, you play what you want. Don't play what's hip. Don't play what everybody's playing. You just gotta find yourself and keep playing something else and challenge yourself with something better. You don't stay too comfortable for too long, because that's when you start sucking ass.
It's like, I have friends of mine, they ask me to show them how to play bass, this or that. And the biggest thing I can tell them is, if it sounds good to you, then you're doing something right. Keep on playing it.
Anything else to add, gentlemen?
Pretty much what he was saying. I just kind of say, if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong.
Write. Just write. As much as you can, just keep writing.
I keep seeing, or I've seen several times over the last week or two, a meme, and it's of Batman, and why the fuck it's of Batman I'll never understand. But it says, stop what you're doing and work on your art. And when I'm like, I don't know if I would call this art, but when I find myself in a rut and working on contacting bands and getting things done, because we are the pushers of this show. If I don't work on it, she doesn't work on it, we just are at home stoned doing nothing. And fuck that. I always picture that in my head. It's Batman. I don't fucking know why it's Batman, but that's the image I see. I see a picture of Batman and it says, stop what you're doing and work on your art. Really appreciate you guys giving us time to sit down and do an interview.
Thank you.
It was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for giving us
Laura.
time, definitely.
And we're really, really excited to see you guys tonight.
Well, congratulations to you guys and to the Texas Metal Show. We're very excited about it.
Thank you.
And your future, and to see where you guys go. And
Well, hopefully you'll hear some more from us, and we'll definitely have you guys on the show again when you guys have a little bit more going on for you. After your first show, maybe tomorrow. I mean, I don't know. I don't have to be at work till Monday, so we don't know what the future holds. Brothers and sisters, always remember, not all cops are pigs. Some of them are just dicks, and it's their duty to beat you with a big fucking stick. And always, hail Odorous.
The Texas Metal Show is a production of Wolf House Studios. If you enjoyed Witchcryer, you can purchase their music at witchcrier.bandcamp.com. Stay tuned, guys.